Have you ever felt that moment when your mind becomes so silent it almost feels noisy? It's as if, in the midst of the silence, voices you didn't ask to hear emerge. Thoughts that come out of nowhere. What if God doesn't hear? What if I'm not strong enough? What if everything goes wrong? Doubt doesn't shout, it whispers, and it's precisely in the whisper that it finds space to grow. The truth is that how to overcome spiritual doubt, it's not about never having questions. It's about not letting those questions paralyze you, because doubt, when ignored, starts small, but it gains strength. It enters through the crack of uncertainty, through the door of insecurity, and little by little, it takes over everything. You look at your life and no longer see clearly. Confused mind and faith. It feels like two opposing forces are fighting inside you. But here's something few people realize. Doubt isn't the real problem. The problem is when you let it sit on the throne of your heart and start dictating the rules. When it begins to define what you believe, what you decide, how you pray. And then, even when you try to free the mind from doubt, it seems she keeps coming back, persistent, like a shadow that won't leave. Do you know what happens when you live like that? You start to doubt even the things you've seen God do. That victory from back then? Oh, it was luck. Here's that clear answer. Maybe it was a coincidence. And the more you feed the doubt, the more it steals your peace, your confidence, your ability to see God's plan clearly. You don't realize it, but it's already controlling much more than it should. Now tell me something. How long are you going to let a whisper determine the volume of your faith? And what happens when doubt stops being just a thought and becomes a burden? You wake up and it's still there. You try to pray and it appears. You want to trust, but you feel that tightness in your chest that seems to say, it's not going to work. This is the reality for those who face it. Doubt and lack of faith. It's not dramatic, it's not visible, but it's suffocating. It's like carrying an invisible backpack full of stones that no one else can see. There's a story in the Bible that makes me think a lot about this. Do you remember Thomas? That disciple everyone calls the doubter? Well, Jesus had resurrected, appeared to the other disciples, but Thomas wasn't there that day. And when his friends told him what they had seen, do you know what he said? Unless I see the nail marks in his hands and touch his wounds, I won't believe. It sounds arrogant, right? But it wasn't. It was fear. It was the weight of such a great disappointment that he could no longer believe without proof. And here's the beautiful detail of this story. Jesus didn't reject Thomas because of his doubt. 8 days later, Jesus appeared again, and this time he looked directly at Thomas and said, "Put your finger here and see my hands. Reach out your hand and put it into my side. Stop doubting and believe." Jesus didn't ignore Thomas's pain. He entered into it. And it was there in that encounter that Thomas declared, "My Lord and my God." Doubt wasn't the end of his story. It was the beginning of a transformed faith. So understand this, combating emotional doubt. It's not about pretending you're okay. It's not about smiling while you're falling apart inside. It's about bringing the doubt into the light, placing it before God, and letting Him answer in His own way. Because many times we want a quick answer, but God wants to give us something greater, Himself. And when you understand that, the weight begins to lessen. Because in the end, doubts and spiritual anxiety, they don't disappear overnight, but they lose their power when you stop fighting alone and start fighting with God by your side. Now things get heavier, because there's a point where doubt stops being just a feeling and becomes a voice that speaks all the time, that questions your every decision, every prayer, every step of faith. Is God really with me? Does He care? Do I deserve this blessing? And that's when you realize how to trust God in difficult times. It's not just a spiritual issue, it's a mental battle. That voice of insecurity is treacherous. It doesn't come saying, give up on everything. No, it's more subtle. It plants small seeds of distrust. Look what you've already been through and nothing has changed. Look how many times you've prayed and weren't answered. Look how difficult things are now. Udin. And suddenly, without you realizing it, these small seeds sprout and transform into walls that separate you from God. But something needs to be clear. Feeling insecure doesn't make you a weak Christian. It doesn't make you someone without faith. The Bible itself is full of people who felt fear, who doubted, who trembled before the unknown. The difference is that they didn't stop there. They chose to keep walking even while trembling. And that's what faith to overcome insecurities. It really means it's not the absence of fear, it's choosing to trust despite it. Because you see, insecurity screams loudest when you're about to take an important step. It appears when God is calling you to something bigger, when the promise is closest to being fulfilled. It's as if the enemy knows that if you take that step, everything will change. So he uses your own mind against you. And suddenly, spiritual doubt and fear, they become entangled in a knot that seems impossible to untie. But what if I told you that this knot only seems impossible to untie because you're trying to untie it yourself? This is where the turning point begins, because every doubt has an origin. It doesn't arise from nothing. Sometimes it comes from an old disappointment, from a promise you thought God didn't keep, from a prayer that seemed unheard. Other times it comes from trauma, from a word someone said that stuck in your mind like chewing gum on a shoe. And sometimes it just comes from exhaustion, from waiting so long, from fighting so hard, from trying so hard and seeing no results. So the first step to how to deal with spiritual doubt, it's about understanding where it comes from. Because when you identify the root, you can uproot it. You can't treat the symptom and ignore the cause. There's no point in praying for faith if you don't confront what's killing your faith from within. It's like trying to fill a leaky bucket. You can pour water in it all day, and it will never fill. And you know what's liberating about all this? God isn't afraid of your questions. He's not offended by your doubts. He won't reject you because you're confused. Quite the opposite. He's waiting for you to bring all of this to him. Psalm 62:8 says, "Trust in him at all times, you people. Pour out your hearts to him, for God is our refuge." Just pouring out your heart isn't just about talking about victories. It's about bringing the mess, the confusion, the inner chaos, and placing it all at his feet. Oh, and before I forget, if this content is making sense to you, subscribe to the channel and leave a like below. This really helps so that more people can find this message and be strengthened too. And now, stick with me because it gets even better. Because understanding the root of the doubt is only the beginning. The next step is the most important, recognizing that how to overcome thoughts of doubt. It's not a process you do alone. You need help. You need God's presence entering those places you've locked away for so long. And when he enters, everything changes. The question now is no longer, why do I doubt? The question is, am I going to let God enter into this doubt with me? There's a moment in the spiritual journey that's almost inexplicable. It's when everything is too quiet. You prayed, cried, shouted, waited, and nothing, silence. But it's precisely in this silence that something can happen. Because there's a difference between empty silence and full silence. Empty silence leaves you lost, but full silence prepares you for something greater. And here's a truth that could change everything for you. God removes doubt, not by shouting louder than her, but by entering into the midst of her. He doesn't pull you out of the storm overnight. He enters the storm with you. And then you realize you were never alone. That silence you thought was abandonment. It was God working behind the scenes, preparing something you couldn't see yet. Isaiah 41:10 says, "Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you, I will help you, I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." Do you see? God doesn't say, "Don't fear, because the problems will go away." He says, "Don't fear, because I am with you." His presence is the answer. And when you understand this, you stop looking for solutions and start seeking his presence. And it is in silence that you learn to truly listen. Because while your mind is full of noise, anxiety, haste, demands, you cannot discern the voice of God. But when you quiet down, when you choose trust in God in uncertainty, even without having all the answers, something begins to stir within you. A peace you can't explain. A certainty that doesn't come from logic but from the Spirit. And suddenly, in that silence that once frightened you, you feel, He's here. He always has been. And all He needs from you now is one thing: surrender. But deliver what exactly? You'll understand that now. This is one of the hardest lessons of faith, because we want to understand first and then trust. Explain it to me, God, and then I'll believe. Show me the complete plan, and then I'll take the step. But faith doesn't work like that. Faith is surrendering before understanding. It's letting go of control before having the guarantee. It's trusting even when everything inside you screams for proof. Give your doubts to God. It's not about pretending they don't exist. It's about bringing them to Him and saying, Lord, I don't know how to solve this. I don't know how it will end. I don't even know if I'm doing the right thing, but I choose to trust in You. And do you know what happens when you do that? God doesn't necessarily remove the difficult situation, but He transforms the way you see it. Proverbs 3:5-6 speaks precisely to this. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your paths straight. With all your heart, not just a part of it, not just when you understand, but even when you don't understand. Because spiritual trust in God, it is built precisely in the moments when you don't have all the answers. And look, you might be thinking, but I've already tried surrendering, and I still have doubts. And I understand you, because surrendering isn't a single act, it's a process. It's waking up every day and choosing again. Today, I surrender. Today, I trust. Today, I let go of control. Because the human mind has this habit of taking back what it has already surrendered. We put it in God's hands in the morning, and by the afternoon, it's back in our lap, being carried by our own effort. But when you truly learn to live in that posture of constant surrender, something begins to change. Faith that calms the mind. It's not a faith that removes all questions. It's a faith that gives you peace in the midst of them. And this peace, it doesn't make sense, but it's real and it's powerful. So what do you need to let go of today so that God can act? This is where the real transformation begins. Because when you surrender, when you choose to trust, something inside you changes. It's not magic, it's not instantaneous, but it's real. The mind that once lived in cycles of anxiety and doubt begins to find a new path, a path of clarity, of peace, of purpose. Romans 12:2 says, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, His good, pleasing, and perfect will." Renewal of the mind through faith. It doesn't happen because you decided to think positively. It happens because you decided to fill your mind with God's truth instead of your own fears. It's like cleaning a house that's been abandoned for years. At first it seems impossible. There's so much accumulated stuff, so much emotional baggage, so many lies you believed about yourself and about God. But as you clean, removing what no longer serves you, letting the light in again, the house begins to seem habitable. And then you realize, I can live here. I can live in peace. I can live without this weight. And do you know the secret to this renewal? It's not forcing the mind to stop doubting. It's feeding the mind with truth until the truth is stronger than doubt. It's replacing thoughts of I can't with I can do all things through Him who strengthens me. It's exchanging God won't help me, for God is my refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. It's an intentional, daily, persistent substitution. And when you do that, when you choose to fill your mind with the Word of God, with worship, with testimonies of faithfulness, something happens, a mind strengthened by faith. It is no longer a hostage to circumstance. It becomes firm, stable, unshakable. Not because you have become perfect, but because you have learned where to anchor your thoughts. And this renewal, it prepares you for the next level, learning to truly trust. Here's where things get deeper, because it's one thing to mentally agree that God is faithful. It's quite another to feel it in your heart. It's about living it out in practice. How to feel safe in God. It's not a formula you memorize. It's an experience you build step by step, day after day, decision after decision. And I'll be honest with you, there will be days when you feel God's presence so strongly that it will seem impossible to doubt. But there will be other days when you wake up and the feeling isn't there. And it's on those days that true trust is tested. Because trusting isn't about living by emotions, it's about living by conviction. It's knowing that even when you don't feel it, God is still there. Psalm 46:1 says, "God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble." Present, not absent, not distant, present. And sometimes His presence doesn't come as you expected. It doesn't come with fireworks, with chills, with supernatural signs. Sometimes it comes as a strange peace in the midst of chaos, like a force you don't know where it came from, like an inexplicable certainty that it will work out. And do you know what happens when you experience these small acts of faithfulness? Your heart gets used to trusting. It creates memories. It builds a history of God has helped me before, He will help me again. And that, my friend, is truly trust in God. It's not blind trust. It's trust built on real experiences. Because ultimately, you trust those you know. And the more you know God, not just in theory, but intimately in prayer, in daily dependence, the easier it becomes to trust Him. And when trust takes root in the heart, doubt loses its place. It may still appear from time to time, but it can no longer bring you down. And that's when you realize, I don't need all the answers. I just need Him. And now we reach the climax, because there's a point in the journey where faith ceases to be just a belief and becomes a weapon, a shield, a protection. Ephesians 6:16 speaks of this. Above all, taking the shield of faith, with which you will be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked one. Do you see? Faith is not passive. It is active. It is a warrior. Faith against doubt. This isn't a battle you fight once and that's it. It's a daily battle. The darts will keep coming. The circumstances will keep being difficult. The voices of insecurity will keep trying to reach you. But now you have a shield. And that shield is the unwavering certainty that God is faithful, that He is good, that He has not abandoned you and never will. And do you know what's beautiful about this shield? It doesn't stop the darts from being thrown, but it prevents them from hitting you. You will still go through trials. You will still face moments of uncertainty. There will still be days when it seems like nothing makes sense. But when you raise the shield of faith, these things no longer destroy you. They no longer paralyze you. They no longer define who you are. And here is the secret of how to have unwavering faith. It's not about never being shaken. It's about having roots so deep in God that even when the wind blows hard, you don't fall. You may bend, you may sway, you may even cry, but you don't fall. Because your foundation is not circumstance. Your foundation is Christ, and in Him you are stronger than you imagine. Philippians 4:13 is not just a motivational verse. It's a declaration of spiritual warfare. I can do all things through Him who strengthens me. All things, including overcoming doubt, including trusting when it seems impossible, including standing firm when everything is falling apart. So now answer me this. Are you going to use the shield, or are you going to let the darts hit you? And then something happens that you thought was impossible. Your mind goes silent, not in an empty way, but completely. It's a calm you've never felt before. It's as if, after years of swimming against the current, you've finally found solid ground. And you realize, I don't need to fight so hard. I can rest. How to eliminate negative thoughts with faith. It's not about suppressing, ignoring, or pretending they don't exist. It's about replacing them. It's about filling your mind with so much truth that there's simply no room left for lies. It's about waking up and before the first thought of doubt appears, you've already declared, "This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it." It's intentional, it's firm, it's persistent. And with time, you realize that those thoughts that once dominated you, those inner voices that said, "You're not capable, God won't help you, you're going to fail," they still try to surface, but they no longer have power, because now you know the truth, and the truth has set you free. John 8:32 is literal about this. And you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. This is the freedom that comes when you choose to free the mind from doubt consistently. It's not the absence of struggle, it's constant victory. It's waking up every day knowing that no matter what comes, you have someone to rely on. And that changes everything. It changes how you face problems. It changes how you make decisions. It even changes how you relate to the people around you, because a peaceful mind isn't a mind without challenges. It's a mind that has learned where to find rest. And that rest, it's only found in one place, in God's arms. Matthew 11:28 says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." It's not, "I'll solve everything for you." It's, "I'll give you rest." And sometimes that relief is simply knowing you're not alone. And when the mind is silent, when the inner storm finally calms down, you realize something beautiful. You are free. And here you understand. Freedom isn't living without questions. It's living with confidence, even while having questions. It's not having all the answers. It's knowing who does. It's not never doubting. It's choosing to trust more strongly than you doubt. And this freedom, it transforms everything. Liberation from doubt through the presence of God. It's not an event, it's a lifestyle. It's waking up and choosing trust. It's going to bed and surrendering the day into His hands. It's living knowing that you don't need to control everything because God already has everything under control. And when you live like that, truly free, you become a threat to the enemy, because a free Christian is a dangerous Christian. It's someone who cannot be manipulated by fear, who cannot be paralyzed by doubt, who cannot be defeated by circumstance. And you know what else? This freedom is contagious. When people see you facing the same storms as them, but with an inexplicable peace, they want to know where that peace comes from. When they see you trusting in God, even when everything seems to be falling apart, they start to wonder, what does this person have that I don't? And then you have the opportunity to testify, to tell, to share what God has done in you. Isaiah 26:3 says, "You will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast because they trust in you." Steady, not perfect, not without doubt, but steadfast, anchored, decided. And it is this steadfastness that keeps you standing when everything around you is falling apart. It is this steadfastness that gives you trust in God in uncertainty, because you know that even in uncertainty, He is certain. And to live free is to live lightly. It's no longer carrying the weight of trying to understand everything, to control everything, to solve everything alone. It's simply walking with God, one step at a time, knowing that each step is guided by Him. And that, my friend, is what it truly means. How to overcome spiritual doubt. It's not about eliminating all doubt. It's about living with so much faith that doubt can no longer hold you back. And now you enter the final level of this journey, the path to unwavering peace. And so we've arrived here, at the end of this journey. But it's not really an end, is it? It's a beginning, because everything you've learned so far isn't just for this moment. It's for life, to truly trust in God. It's not a phase. It's a decision you make every day, in every situation, with every challenge, in every new season. The unshakable peace the Bible speaks of is not the absence of problems. It is the presence of God in the midst of problems. Philippians 4:6-7 makes this very clear. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. This peace surpasses understanding. It doesn't make sense, but it is real, and it is yours. And here is the revelation I promised at the beginning. Doubt only has power when you fight against it alone. But when you bring it to God, when you allow Him to enter that deepest place in your mind and heart, doubt loses its voice. Not because it ceases to exist, but because God's voice becomes louder, clearer, stronger, and it is this voice that you choose to listen to. Faith that calms the mind. That's it. It's having God's voice echoing louder than any other voice. It's having His word as your guide when logic says there's no way out. It's having His presence as your comfort when emotions tell you you're alone. And when you live like that, with your mind strengthened by faith, with your heart anchored in God, nothing, absolutely nothing, can take away that peace. So I want to invite you to do something now. Not just watch this video and leave, but apply it. Make a decision today. I will trust, I will surrender, I will live free. And if you make that decision, share this video with someone who also needs to hear this message. Comment below which part touched your heart the most. And subscribe to the channel because there's much more powerful content coming soon. And before I finish, I want to leave you with a verse that you can keep in your heart, repeat when doubt knocks on your door, declare when insecurity tries to overwhelm you. Isaiah 41:10. Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you. I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. God has not abandoned you. He never has, and He never will. Doubt may knock on the door, but it will not enter, because now you know in whom you trust, and that trust is unwavering.